So what I'm going to do now is explain to you what I believe to be the top 10 mistakes that are made by fish keepers. So the first common mistake that's made by fish keepers is not having enough algae eating or scavenging animals in your aquarium. So if you've got a saltwater tank, you can get things like coral banded shrimp that will go and eat detritus and help to clean your tank up. You can get things like abalone and snails that help to eat your algae. You can get fish such as blennies and tangs that all help to eat your algae. So the more animals you put in your tank to actually help scavenge algae and help scavenge debris and detritus in the bottom of your aquarium, the better your aquarium is going to run. So the algae almost becomes a commodity that things in your aquarium are actually wanting to feed on. Now the next thing is not using a gravel cleaner. So inside your gravel builds up all sorts of waste, nutrient that establishes in your gravel. You also get bad bacteria that grows inside your gravel. So when you do a water change in your aquarium, I really recommend using a gravel cleaner. And what the gravel cleaner will do is allow you to suck all the waste out of the gravel while you're doing a water change. So that's a gravel cleaner. The next thing to be careful about, particularly with these open top aquariums, is be careful what you spray around the aquarium. So some people will spray insect spray trying to catch a fly or kill a fly. Other people will spray cleaning sprays. You don't want poisonous or potentially poisonous sprays getting sprayed in the vicinity of your aquarium. Now the next thing that's a very common problem is household sponges. A lot of people opt to clean their aquarium with sponge, but I would recommend using polyfilter or something that is specifically for your aquarium, because if you go and use a household sponge, nearly all household sponges contain chemicals which help to suppress bacteria growing in the sponge, and those sponges are essentially poisonous. The next thing I'd say would be KH, because a lot of tap water actually contains 0 KH. So I want to suggest that probably the 6th most biggest killer of particularly freshwater fish, tropical freshwater fish or goldfish, would be not knowing what your KH is or having a 0 KH. So every time I do a water change, I'll add some water ager, I'll add some carbonate powder, some KH powder, and I will add a little bit of aquarium salt depending on the type of tank you have. You can get specified carbonates which will give you specific pHs, and specified salts which have got different blends of trace elements inside them. Now I would probably say the 5th biggest killer of aquarium keeping would be water changes, doing too big a water change. If you're going to go and do a 40 or a 50% water change and you have not pre-prepared your water, then that can shock your fish and kill them. It can change the temperature, it can drastically change the pH, it can do a whole lot of damage in regards to shocking your animals. So I want to suggest that if you are going to do larger water changes, 25% or more, well, pre-preparing your water is something that we recommend under all circumstances, but particularly important if you're going to do large water changes. So getting a drum or something to just make up your water in, and make sure your water is ready for the fish tank, the temperature's right, the pH is right, you've added your salts and carbonates, then you can do the water change, and you can get away with a larger water change. So doing large water changes where you grab the hose, you throw the hose straight into the tank, then you add your water ager and your salt and you hope for the best. That's another big killer. Someone will often say, My tank was going fine. Then I did a water change, killed all my fish, and here I am. Now the fourth biggest killer, so one of the biggest mystery killers in this industry that kill fish all the time, I'd suggest, is lack of surface agitation. So you can see this aquarium here, it's got very good surface agitation. I don't care whether you've got a freshwater tank, a saltwater tank, or anything, then you need to have very good surface agitation to ensure the oxygen level stays nice and high. Now, know that this is not really that relevant for plant tanks, because a plant tank is run on a different theory of oxygen versus CO2, because the plants are helping to provide oxygen, and will consume CO2. So if you have a low stock of fish and you don't have high surface agitation on a plant tank, it's usually not so bad. If every other fish tank, as far as anyone is concerned, high surface agitation is really a key to make sure that your fish are always happy and that your fish don't die due to very common issues. Now the next thing is overfeeding. I would suggest overfeeding would be the third biggest killer of fish in aquariums. Underfeeding is a very rare problem. Occasionally we do come across instances where fish are underfed, and those fish are visibly skinny and they've hardly been fed much. They've been emaciated over a long period of time. Overfeeding, on the other hand, is a very common problem. So it is very important to know what your fish are supposed to look like, and we recommend feeding the fish what they eat in 30 seconds, about 5 times a week. We find that works for us. Feeding a high quality food like Spectrum is really the key. So quality and understanding quantity is going to help keep your fish nice and healthy. Probably the second biggest killer of fish kept in aquariums would be cleaning your biological filter material with tap water. Now inside your filter, regardless of whether you've got high quality biological media such as Marine Pure, or whether you've just got a simple sponge filter, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what sort of filter you got. What matters is that good bacteria grows inside the filter, and the good bacteria that grows inside the filter breaks down the waste from your fish and keeps your tank nice and healthy. Keeps your water quality good. If you go and clean your filter with tap water, then the chlorine in the tap water, depending on when the tap water was dosed with chlorine, will kill all your good bacteria. And if all your good bacteria is dead, there is every chance that within coming days your ammonia and nitrite will soar and your fish will start to die. Now, I would suggest that the biggest killer of fish would probably be adding the wrong fish together. So there are predatory fish such as these barramundi that will do anything to swallow whatever fits in their mouth. Then there are also territorial fish. Territorial fish will fight each other to ensure that one of the fish is dominant and that they are able to secure territory that they require in the aquarium. Then there's other fish that are just plain aggressive and they just attack and seem to aimlessly kill other fish, such as clown triggers. So watching what fish you put together, making sure that none of the fish fit in the mouth of the biggest fish, and then being accountable for the fish that you have. So if you notice one fish bashing the crap out of the other fish, then how about getting rid of that fish? Because you can't control your fish, but you do have control over them. So therefore, if you notice something going wrong with the personalities of your fish, you need to decide whether to get rid of the wimp or whether to get rid of the aggressor. So anyway, there's the top 10 reasons. If you can put comments down the bottom, tell me what you think. Tell me if you think I've missed anything. Tell me what should be in it next time. Love a bit of feedback. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So a quick overview. The 10th would be not having enough algae eaters and scavengers. That's a very common mistake. The next thing would be not gravel cleaning your aquarium. So your gravel ending up filling up with garbage is a common mistake. Next thing would be spraying cleaning agents or detergents or pesticides around the aquarium. Next thing would be, the seventh would be cleaning the aquarium using household sponges which contain caking agents or, anti-mold agents. The next thing is not testing KH. The fifth thing would be changing more than 30% of the water using unprepared water. The fourth one would be aquariums that have a lack of surface agitation. Overfeeding would be the third biggest killer of fish in my opinion. Cleaning your filter material with tap water would be the second biggest killer in my opinion. And adding the wrong fish together, fish that shouldn't go together, whether it be due to water chemistry or nutritional reasons, or whether it be due to the fact that they're too aggressive or predatory or going to eat each other or whatever. So anyway, just comment on the bottom and tell us what you think.